Hello and welcome back to Best in UC TV. I'm your host, Heather Clancy, and we're going to make things a little bit more real for you here today. I have managed to find someone in New Jersey who is a customer of IP telephony, and they're going to make it real. Rob Immediato is the IT director for Bogota High School. And Rob, thank you very much for joining us today in Hackensack. To get a sense of, and to give us some context around what we're going to talk about, talk to me about the solution you have in place, how many people it's serving, and how long it's been in place, just so we have some context around the rest of the discussion.
We have about 33 users that are using the IP phones now, and we've had that in place for coming on close to 3 years now.
And that's in one school right now?
It services our junior senior high school, which is a 7 through 12, and it services our Board of Education administration offices. Okay.
Now, was this a project that you did because of some sort of impending event, if you will, a problem with existing? Okay, talk to me about your problem.
The phone system was maybe a 15-year-old copper-based phone PBX system that was constantly going down, whether it be a power outage, whether it be just the weather itself, would seem to cause problems where we would get no phone service at all. Okay. So the superintendent at the time tasked me with finding a better solution or replacing what existing technology we already had in district.
Okay. And so you actually, what did you decide on? What technology is it?
What we're using right now is the ShoreTel phone system, IP-based phone system, which is hosted on-site. And we have, like I said, about 33 phones. And everybody in the high school uses it.
And how did you find this particular solution? And did you look at a lot of different things?
I did. During the process, I attended the Texpo that's put on by the school board's administration down in Atlantic City. And one of the breakout sessions that I attended was a ShoreTel phone system demonstration by a representative from ShoreTel in partnership with Eastern Datacom.
Okay, and Eastern Datacom is the one that did the installation for you in Bogota?
Yeah, they're our ShoreTel partner that we deal with.
What benefits have you seen out of, you talked about your problem, right? Have you solved that problem?
Yes.
Okay, so more reliable? Tell me what benefits you've gotten out of it.
That's definitely a benefit. The reliability is the key benefit to this. It is always up. As long as I personally don't cause anything to disruptions on the network, the phone system is up and running. We have generator backups now, battery backups for the server and for the phone switches. And so it's very redundant, and so it's never down. Even if the phone lines around the school or throughout the town are down, we'll still be up as long as we have an internet connection. Our PRI connection is up and active.
What did you have to do to the network to put this in place? Any major upgrades to the network? What did it require?
Essentially, we changed our internet provider, consolidated a lot of old phone lines when in the past where if they needed a phone line at, say, the field house or into the coach's office, they would call another phone vendor to run one line, and then now we would have another bill for that line. What it has allowed us to do is simply get one PRI connection and a couple other data channels peeled off as virtual analog lines, POTS lines, from one provider. So we've cut our costs as far as internet and telephony to one vendor.
Okay. So you did cut some costs. How quickly did you see the cost benefit?
Well, as soon as we could get out of our term contract with all those lines, we were down to that one data line that we needed to service the phone system. One of the many benefits of ShoreTel is the voicemail feature that could be delivered to your email.
Sure.
Or to your phone directly if you have an email-enabled phone. I personally have an iPhone, and I know my vice principal at the high school has an Android phone, and the emails are delivered with a WAV file that contain his voicemail. So instead, if he's roaming throughout the building, he said he loves it because he could hear that voice message.
How long did it take to teach everyone how to use this, right? So you've got, when you put new technology in place, you've got two things to worry about. You've got administrating it, which is, we'll get to that in a second, but you've also got, teaching everyone how to use it. So how did how quickly did everyone learn how to use it? Was it easy for them? Was, any particular things you want to mention there?
Well, Eastern Datacom provided us with a training the day that we went live with the phone systems.
Mm-hmm.
We had 2 training sessions for all the users to attend and see the basic features of it.
Sure.
And also a training session for myself to disseminate information from that day forward and the basic maintenance of the system. But it's so simple that it still just looks like a phone to most users, and if they know how to pick it up and say, hello, it's okay, how do I get my voicemail?
So they've had their training at home.
How do I dial it? Yeah, so
Okay.
It's very straightforward, the system. After they were shown the different features of the phone and how to get to those features, how to check the directory, how to check their voicemail, they loved it. And they love the voice quality now. It was a definite improvement. When you have a conversation between somebody on the network, it's such a good connection that if you feel like you're there, so that was, it took the bite out of, the step that they were having to learn a whole new system.
Okay.
They liked the look of the phone, they liked the feel and the features that it gave them, so it was easy.
What about from your standpoint, as the manager of these things, any dramatic differences with the old way of doing things?
Well, the old way was for me to just call a service call in, money for the district and something that wasn't in my control. As much as I would like to have a lot of less things under my control, this was something that is easier to manage and something I can do. So I was happy that the administration of the network is very good.
Mm-hmm. Now, you and I both know that one of the things you don't want to mess with is someone's ability to make a phone call, right? People don't want their phones to go out. Quality of service is a big deal. When I'm sure it was a big discussion point when you actually switched over. People are, oh my God, can we trust this thing? Is this safe, et cetera? But so to that point, I'm just wondering, when you switched over to the system, were there any surprises, good or bad?
The only, like I said before, we have generator backups and battery backups. We always had battery backups in place, but those would only last a certain amount of time, and you're dependent upon those because your phone system is now a part of that uninterruptible power supply now. So we're stuck beholden to how much time we have on those batteries. So adding the generator was something that I learned that I had to do right away because that meant it's always going to be up.
Okay. What would you tell a peer in your position at a school? What advice would you give to them if they were thinking about doing this or, as they were getting into a project like this? Any pointers or tips that you would give them to help make their process as easy as yours or easier?
First of all, we had a great partner in Eastern Datacom and ShoreTel themselves to make the transition very easily. Mm-hmm. The installation was very quick, so there's not too much to worry about there. I would just worry more about understanding the system and how to administer it, and the rest, it just takes care of itself. All the features are there standard. They're pretty straightforward. You don't have to look at like an a la carte menu and say, I want this feature, that feature, call forwarding, or find me features. They're all included, and they're easy to set up and understand for most users. And
okay. All right. Well, thanks for your time today, Rob. Really appreciate you coming in. And thanks for joining another episode of Best in UCTV. Until we meet again, I'm Heather Clancy.